Oh yeah.
So I'm Jackie Green. I'm the owner and promoter of Beyond the Darkness.
And I'm Dexx, her partner, the co-promoter of Beyond the Darkness.
Mhm.
Beautiful, guys. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.
My absolute pleasure. So, Beyond the Darkness returns to the back room in Annerley on September 14th for a bumper night of music featuring Engraved, Sentiment, Void Matter, Crave, In Effigy, and heaps more bands, mate. Like, September might still be 5 or so months away, but the way this year's been going, it's going to go by pretty quick.
Oh, absolutely.
It already has, yeah.
Yeah. We're the end of April now, so it creeps up fairly quick.
Yeah, and I think it's important to point out here with these two because, like, I guess with the current state of festivals coming through Australia and the way COVID's left everything, like, a lot of people these days are leaving it to the last minute to buy tickets for things like this. But when it's a local show like this, it's important for people to get out there and buy tickets earlier, and so you can sort of engage what's going on. Like with the internationals, it doesn't really matter, but with the local events, it's really important to get behind and get your tickets early.
Yeah, exactly right. But we noticed even with last year's event that left probably to about the last month, and then the tickets just started flowing out the door.
But it's often good to secure them now because then you've got them and you can get them at the fairly good price.
Yeah, true. Now, before we start talking about the actual day, I think it's important to discuss the reasons behind Beyond the Darkness. So, sorry to bring it up, Jackie, but can you please tell us a bit more about the day and why you started it?
Yep. Okay. So, on the 22nd of April 2022, my husband David died of esophageal cancer. It just came on. He had a 13-month battle. We tried everything, threw everything at it, and then he got a secondary cancer. Once most people get a secondary cancer, there's not much you can do. So I lost him. I really didn't know what I was going to do. I suppose my whole world was turned upside down. And we just floated the idea. We wanted to do something to really celebrate his first year anniversary. And so I floated the idea on Facebook and said to people, what do we think? And Brian said, let's put on a show. And so it was born from there.
All right, very, very cool.
Yeah.
As much as events like this are great for raising money for charities such as the GI Cancer Institute, it's just important that they raise awareness as well, because no matter how bulletproof we think we might be, like the things like cancer, like they don't discriminate.
No, they don't.
No. They don't matter who you are, what age you are. David was only 47. So I think part of that, the awareness is people in our sort of age group, in that 40s to 50s age group, to not be complacent about things. If something is not right, go and get it checked out.
Yeah, damn straight. Now, this will be the second Beyond the Darkness after a successful debut last year. So is it any easier to put together with the benefit of 12 months experience, or is it still a pain in the ass?
As all the musicians know that I deal with, fucking musicians. That's all I can say, Chris.
Doesn't get any easier, does it?
Yeah.
Like herding cats. You learn a lot of different things, different tricks of the trade, and you know how to deal with things differently. Yeah. But it's always putting things together as, does this work with this? What are we going to do in terms of that band and that band? Do they mesh together? And finding, you like to put on originals bands. Yeah. You get a lot of people that come through who have their covers bands, and they're great, but it's always great to showcase that original talent from our area.
For sure, yeah. I think it's also important lately. Like, there's been a lot of backlash about a lot of festivals and a lot of promoters, like when things have gone pear-shaped when they put it on. But it's not an easy thing. Whether it's a smaller scale with pub bands to a major international event, like there's so much that goes on behind the scenes when you're trying to put a festival together, and all the support people can give you, it all helps, definitely.
Oh, absolutely. And we thank you too, Chris, because getting it out there is important.
Oh, you're welcome. That's what I'm here for.
That's not easy. We learnt that last year. It was not easy.
No.
That's what we're all here for, to help each other out, isn't it?
Yeah.
So when you're putting together the lineup, like what sort of criteria have you got when it comes to selecting bands? Like you mentioned, you've got the covers come in, but you've mentioned like they've got to sort of flow together, but it's not just a matter of just going, I like them, and them, and them, is it? Like it's sort of, there's a bit of a process involved.
Exactly right. Because I mean, you can like 20 different bands, but they might not suit the show on the night. They might not gel together, and they don't flow. So you got to try and choose the most, well, I suppose, current bands, those that are going to draw your crowd, ones that appear good on stage, have great stage presence and everything like that. Because we have seen some bands. Well, I'm not mentioning names or nothing, but we're like, wow, really? You're wondering why you're not getting anywhere? How about you put some fucking effort in?
Yeah.
And maybe someone might throw you onto a show, because there's
Yeah.
some bands out there that just don't get it.
No, I've seen some bands on festival lineups and they don't do any promotion at all. They just get there on the day and, they bring 5 extra people, so be it. But
Yeah.
in this day and age, it's all about everyone working together. And that comes from the bands on social media, promoting it, people word of mouth talking about it. Like it's the music industry is coming back together again, I think, but it's still going to take a lot of sustained effort from everybody getting involved together to do it.
Exactly. And there's no room for egos in this process either, because if you got an ego, I just won't deal with you, plain and simple.
Yeah.
And a few bands copped that email, went, that's it, no, I'm done with you.
See you later. Things, it must sort of give you a lot of satisfaction as well to see bands like Engraved, who sort of played at an earlier slot last year, and this year they've improved that much that you've offered them one of the headline positions. So things like that got to give you a bit of personal satisfaction that you're helping nurture that sort of scene as well.
Exactly. And we followed them a few times. We saw a couple of their shows in Brisbane. We drove down to the Gold Coast.
Yep.
And then we actually pulled Dan aside and we offered him the spot of the headliner. And he was blown away. I said, well, we know what you did for us last year. We know you're growing now and you're actually going to grow more. So we thought, bugger it, bang, let's give him the headline. And that's exactly what we did.
Yeah, good stuff. And is it like you've got, how many bands is there? So 8, 10 bands over the
10
day?
bands, yeah.
10 bands. So are you putting them all on the one big stage at the back room, or are you going to have the
Everything's
two?
on the main stage, yep.
I was so hoping you were going to say that.
That's how we ran with the 7 last year.
Yep.
And there was a
15-minute changeover.
15-minute changeovers, worked beautifully.
Yep. And in that time, we usually run auctions and stuff like that, trying to raise money and things like that.
Yep.
So,
As much as like in principle, it's a great idea to have one band stopping there, another band stopping there. Like you just don't get a break all day, like old timers like me, I need to go and sit down and recuperate between bands. I can't just bounce from one to the other.
we hear you. We hear you.
So just say someone can't make it on the actual day on September the 14th, but they still want to make a donation. Can they do that, and how?
They can. There's an in memoriam page on the GI Cancer Institute website.
Yep.
And they can actually go in there. It's under Dave-Green, and they can donate directly to that page.
Very good. And we sort of touched on this before too, but it's also a fair bit cheaper if you do buy your tickets in advance. I think, like from memory, it's what, $25 pre-sale or $40 on the door, which is a significant increase. So where can people go to buy tickets and find out more information?
Go straight to the Facebook page, straight to the Instagram page. Any of the posts have all got the hyperlinks. Just got to hit the links or go to the bios. The links are all there.
Yep.
And it's that simple,
if
yeah.
they want to go through the other way, it's on the Live at Your Local page and on the Oztix page as well.
Yep.
Beautiful. Now, before we wrap up, guys, we're going to have to give your show a bit of a plug too. Like you guys have got the Ozfest with Dexx and Jackie O.
There's no O anymore. Don't you drop the O.
Jackie G.
Yeah, no, I was going to get into that bit too, but the Jackie. So, what is it? Is it a podcast? Is it a music session? What do you guys do?
It's a live radio stream that's streamed from here straight to the US of A.
Okay.
And it's broadcast all around the world.
Wow. And what do you interview bands similar to this sort of stuff?
We play the latest hard rock and metal releases each time that we're on, because we used to do the show weekly, but it just become too much of a chore. I mean, I've been doing the show myself now for 20 years. Jackie jumped on board just under 2 years ago. And we just play the latest music that's out there, because a lot of people don't know the awesome music that's out there today. There's a lot of bands that don't get airplay. So
we do talk,
exactly
but we try and save people the boredom of listening to someone talk through their music.
Yeah, we're not terrestrial radio. We don't want to talk over the song, so we just don't do it.
Yeah.
That's sweet. And how do bands submit music to you and get a bit of airplay?
They can get hold of us through Spotify, because we're on Spotify as well. They just got to look for the Ozfest with Dexx and Jackie G, and they can submit through there because the email address is up there.
Beautiful, guys. All right. Well, thanks for your time tonight. It's been a pleasure speaking with you. Beyond the Darkness is on September 14th at the Back Room in Adelaide. It's a benefit concert for the GI Cancer Institute. but above all, it's a great day with great music and even greater people.